At work, my boss thinks I'm lazy.
My grandparents believe that there's this huge disconnect between the baby boomers and the millennials.
They call us the lost generation.
They call us the me generation.
They call us the politically disengaged generation.
I think what needs to happen between boomers, Gen X, and Gen Y is, an honest and frank discussion about who Gen Y is, a paradigm and perspective shift.
We're ending the silent spell. We're opening up the discussion on topics that matter to Gen Y. We're talking to students around the globe and getting their perspective on Gen Y's ideas about education, politics, and entitlement. My name is Bailey Parnell, and I'm the co-executive producer, head of marketing, and co-host of the Gen Y Perspective. The Gen Y Perspective is a collaborative multimedia project with Ryerson University's partner schools in the Global Campus Network. We've aligned ourselves with the University of Queensland in Brisbane, Australia, Rutgers University in New Jersey, United States, and Metodista University in Sao Paulo, Brazil, to discuss, refute, and wrestle with each other on Gen Y issues. We've combined all this information into bite-sized, consumable content on our website. Our online component is a collection of articles, blogs, and videos curated from our partner countries, showcasing noteworthy millennials doing cool things and combating Gen Y misconceptions. For example, we've talked with two astute Y20 delegates who, at this year's G20 summit, broached the fact that Gen Y is the first generation in the modern world to have the highest levels of student debt, poverty, and unemployment than their predecessor generations.
My name is Caitlin Dosa, and I'm the director of the Gen Y Perspective. Aside from the hybrid of our online content, the lifeblood of our project and our crowning gem is our episodic content. This comprises of 3 half-hour shows, spanning from hot-button issues like education, politics, and entitlement. The Gen Y Perspective hopes to debunk, shake up, and upend negative stereotypes that plague Gen Y, ones that have become cliches, like we're entitled, narcissistic, and politically disaffected.
Hi, my name is Sally Lee, and I'm the technical producer and editor of the Gen Y Perspective. By using High Vision, our connection feeds with our international roundtable in Australia, Brazil, and the United States was highly secure and of television broadcast caliber. The feeds were so top tier that CTV News Channel caught wind of our show on politics and the G20 summit and couldn't help but put a plug in for us. Take a look.
But a group of Ryerson students is trying to change that, using the power of TV and the internet to try to spark a conversation.
My name is Rachel Cruto, and I'm the co-executive producer and international coordinator of the Gen Y Perspective. Our first episode was with Rutgers University students, and we aim to tackle the narrative that millennials are navel-gazing narcissists. But in this episode, the conversation was peppered with expert opinion from leadership coach Kendra Reddy, who challenged these notions, a Rutgers professor who talked about Gen Y entitlement in the workplace, and a beauty queen who's defying the self-important stereotype with her initiative for philanthropy and charity.
My name is Alexandra Conop, and I am the production and content manager on the Gen Y Perspective. Our second episode was based on the G20 and politics. In this timely and touchstone episode, we wanted to show that although half of millennials identifies politically independent, we're still acutely aware of all the politics that are happening around us. We also got some intel on what was happening at the G20 summit from our co-hosts in Brisbane, and if the forum was even relevant to Gen Y.
My name's Ashley Peters, and I'm the co-host, writer, and EPK manager of the Gen Y Perspective. Our third and closing episode hinged around higher education, with 40% of millennials shouldering staggering student debt. With post-grad employment nearly impossible to snag, we are questioning the value of a degree and looking at self-employment as an alternative.
The Gen Y Perspective finds millennials who are unapologetically making history.
The Gen Y Perspective is talking to young thought leaders who are putting themselves in the crosshairs of politics.
Instead of being labeled as a selfish generation, the Gen Y Perspective is a mouthpiece for selfless millennials.
We're leveling with millennials all across the globe to cast Gen Y in a new light.
We're changing the conversation around Gen Y. We may be just a bunch of 20-somethings, but we have important ideas to share.
The Gen Y Perspective.